Alfonso Hernandez, you sexy motherfucker.
Hey, happy to be here,
brother.
Honestly, dude. Gotta compete with this guy over here, man. Golly.
Stop it, you.
Yeah, dude. Putting the handsome average white man on a different pedestal. That's what you're doing. Hell yeah.
I don't feel it today. I had a couple of beers last night, so...
yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah.
And what you're putting down is yourself. I love that. Hell yeah, dude.
So how are you, man? What's been going on?
Doing good, man. Just working, trying to, get more comedy on the Mexican American view. So that's fun. It's a good time.
That seems to be your angle. Like, you seem to be hitting that when I watch your reels and stuff on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's like your perspective of being...
Yeah, of being Mexican American. Yeah, because there's such a huge disconnect from first generation Mexican Americans or just people that have immigrant parents.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, perfect.
Like a difference with like people who have immigrant parents and themselves, because they don't really get it. Like their kids and their parents. Like the parents are normally like, oh, you need the house, you need the kids. Kind of. It's a lot of traditional American too. But with Mexicans, it's tough because there's a language barrier and there's also like a different country barrier. You know what I mean? So I feel like there's not a lot of a voice for like just like Mexican Americans who like it's their first or second generation and they are progressive, but they don't have any of the backup because anyone they look up to is like so far back when it's not even, you know what I mean? It could just be the parents, but they're living like 20, 30 years in the past. So it's fun to tackle that, But what about you being an immigrant?
Hang on, before I go, before we change subject, sorry.
Sure.
Were your parents are you the first generation born here in your family?
Yes.
Okay, so you were born here, your parents immigrated.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Do your parents are they what do they do? Like what?
Oh, my mom just married a white guy.
So. Oh, nice. Hell yeah. Living the dream.
Yeah.
What a woman.
His name is Scott. Yeah. So that's fun. And my dad is now he was working for Bezos, his space program. You know how they were all trying to go to the fucking moon so they could live there because they burned this place that he got. He was working on the rockets. The company was called Blue Origin, and they just recently let him go because Musk came in with Trump and was just like, okay, so it's SpaceX and NASA, nothing else. Yeah. And all the other, rocket companies are just not allowed to, shoot anything. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
So then Bezos was like, okay, so I don't need Blue Origin now, and he laid off like 2,000 workers.
Wow.
Yeah. Literally, like this happened like a month ago.
Jesus, you don't hear about that in the news, do you?
Yeah, no, you don't. Yeah, no, that's crazy.
So. Also, how the fuck did you get so tall? How tall are you?
I'm 6'3".
6'3", because I've been to Mexico. I spent 4 months in Mexico before I came to the US, and those fuckers are not tall. Like, where do you get it from?
Yeah. They say that the northern ones are, but I don't know how altitude has anything to do with high. Yeah, but man, I just that's just like how they run. I think there's more Aztec blood because I did a 23andMe too, and it said 51% native indigenous and then 38% Spanish. So and everyone's like, it's the Spanish. I'm like, fuck you for saying it's the white part. It's the European part that made you handsome. I'm like, fuck you, asshole. That's insane,
Alfonso, the stallion.
Yeah, exactly. I gotta hit up Megan,
Yeah.
I gotta see what's up with her. She's a good rapper.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
Ah, that's sick. So have you got siblings as well?
Yes, I do have one sister. Yeah, and she looks traditional.
Okay.
She is 5'2".
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is she in New York?
No, she's in Texas. She's living in Midland right now.
Nice.
Yeah, because her husband also white.
Scott?
Yeah, no, Aaron. He's a traffic controller, air traffic controller right now, which is funny time to be that right now, because so many planes are not landing.
Yeah. There is some issues with the planes at the moment.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. It's crazy. And I just called him and I was like, hey, make sure you're not fucking that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God damn.
It's wild, man. But yeah, she's living in the middle of nowhere. It's literally called Midland, and it's just like oil rigs everywhere in the desert. Yeah. But
drill, baby, drill.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I didn't even know we still had oil.
Weren't we supposed to be running out like 40 years ago?
Yeah,
or
it felt like that, right? Yeah. And
apparently, there's like still 200 years or 300 years of oil. Apparently, we're good for a long time.
Yeah, yeah. But we're trying to sell these electric cars. Yeah, there was a whole advertisement at the White House. That was cool.
Really?
Yeah, you didn't see that?
No.
Like Musk was like with Trump, and then they were like in the White House driveway, like, this one, what's this one? This is the Tesla Model Y. And then Trump got in the car, and he was like, wow, it's all computer.
No.
You didn't see that?
No.
He actually said that word for word.
Actually makes me sick.
Yeah. It's crazy.
There's just so much like blatant in-your-face corruption in this country, isn't it?
I know, dude.
Like they're just like rubbing it, smearing it in your face,
dude.
going, fuck you. I got all the power, motherfucker.
Yeah, and then some people eat it up, too. They're like, maybe I should get a Tesla. Shut the fuck up. Open your eyes, man. Yeah.
I'm not into electric cars at all. I don't think it's the future.
You're like they're gay.
Yeah, they are a little gay. But it just doesn't make sense. The infrastructure you have to put in to make them all work is crazy. It would just never really work in a city, having to constantly plug your cars in.
Yes.
And you'd have to have, ideally, if you wanted everything to go electric, you'd have to have charging stations every 4 meters on every fucking street for the whole city. Yeah. It just doesn't make sense. There's got to be something better.
You would have to have a lot more, but like, it's also what I think is too is like the building of those lithium batteries are so huge for those cars. Like we're having to like go to other countries to mine that for those batteries, and it's like, I don't know if you see the conditions, but it's like slave work basically. Like in the Congo, they're getting
seen that.
Yeah. It's like, dude, all for these cars that like don't last, you know. Yeah. I mean, the only good electric car I saw was the Prius, still tried and true. Yeah. But those Teslas are so heavy.
They're hybrids, those Priuses, aren't they?
But you can do full electric.
I think a hybrid is good technology. Yes. That makes sense to me. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, what was I going to say? Yeah, when you think about it, like they're like, oh, it's electric, it's so green. But like you say, everything they're extracting out of the ground costs a heap of resources, heap of money, heap of labor, heap of carbon emissions. Yeah. And then the freaking batteries are charged by coal-powered fire stations most of the time.
Yeah, dude, I know. That's another thing.
It's just robbing Peter to pay Paul, you know what I mean?
Robbing a Peter to pay Paul? What'd you just say?
Robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah.
What is that?
Like, I'm robbing you. Like, robbing as in... have you heard... Do you guys know the term robbing? You're getting robbed?
Oh, rob.
Yeah,
okay,
it's just my accent. You can't.
No, it's fine.
Yeah. So robbing Peter to pay Paul. It's just like you're just kicking the can...
And Peter to pay Paul.
Okay. Yeah.
It sounded like a rap album, bro. Robbing Peter to pay Paul.
There you go, folks.
What's he doing? He's robbing Peter to pay Paul. Damn, dude, I'd get into that. Add a good beat to that shit. Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah.
No, but I get it. No. Like you're taking money from someone else to, you know, you're still losing.
Exactly.
You know?
Makes no sense.
Yeah, it's wild, man. For me, it's just like in the States, it's like we don't need so many we need to be so dependent on these vehicles. Like, just make more of a train system. New York works so well. Why don't we have more of what we do for, like, when we get from New York to Chicago, or New York to Philadelphia, or like that stuff? Like, we have the Amtrak. Just do that all over the country, man. Why are we gonna be driving so long, so far? It's ridiculous.
Exactly.
But they don't want to do that.
And Japanese, like, look at them. They've got these high-speed rails, and it's like, it's crazy. You could probably, it would probably be more efficient than getting a plane eventually. Yeah. Like airports fucking suck. Yeah. I hate getting planes. Yeah. But
have you seen how they like made those train systems too in Japan?
No.
They used like a mushroom. Like they small scaled their cities, right? And then they used a mushroom to grow off of a certain feed.
I've seen that.
And then because it finds the easiest way to get from point A to point B, like of the food, right? And then it grew in that direction, and they built it like that. So I did see that. Hyper efficient.
That is cool.
Dude, they're so fucking cool, man. I'm like, damn, bro, I need to go there because they're like alien.
And they're so respectful. They're like, Then just the nicest people in the world, the Japanese.
Yeah,
and they're so respectful to their elders. The streets are clean. Like there's nothing, no rubbish on the ground. It's like
they pride themselves on that, on like perfection and like the honor. Honor is huge, you know. But if you see the Japanese like make something, like they've made it so many times that they're like, this is the best way that this can be made. Like you just anything, dude. Like I worked in a Japanese bar where we had to like, you know, it was like I already had specialty cocktail experience and all that, like making stuff, but like, dude, they had all these ways of like just even making the cube for the cocktail. You had to like stab it in a way so it came out a sphere, right? But I was like, I'm going to stab myself. But the bartenders, they were dedicated to their job so well, they could just, and it was just like a sphere. I was like, God damn, just for ice, bro? It's going to melt. Like, that's crazy.
I've seen that. I follow a guy on Instagram. He gets this, like, big samurai sword thing, and he's like...
Yeah, even the samurai sword, too, bro. Like, that, just, like, just making that, like, they... perfected the sword.
Yeah.
You know? Which sucks when the English just came in with muskets and we're like, well, you're fucked. Don't matter how nice it is.
I feel like that happened to the whole world. You know, they were like the great, you know, there was so many tribes that were like, we're the best, we're winning. And then the white man came with his muskets like, no, you're not, motherfucker.
You said go boom. I know, dude. And what sucks too is that it was like that invention was first the Chinese, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, was the firework.
Yep.
And they were like, wow, it's so pretty. And then the English were like, yeah, it's beautiful. Let's just aim it this way.
Put a rock in there and shoot that motherfucker.
Yeah. So yeah, that's
the Chinese invented heaps of shit.
Yeah, man.
I'm pretty sure, like, they invented gunpowder. I'm pretty sure they invented, like, navigation as well.
Yeah.
Like conventional navigation. And
I'm not sure
paper.
about...
I believe they invented paper.
Paper for sure. Paper, I did hear that, yeah. Which was, like, they had, like, a beautiful way of making it, too. Like, just... I've only seen the brain rot videos of them making it how they used to.
I see those on
but
YouTube.
It's like a very thick texture and like
they get all like the reeds and then lay them out and it's got this beautiful music playing.
Yeah, I've definitely dissociated watching that. She's like, wow.
I almost fall in love with those people. Like if it's like a semi-attractive woman and she's just perfecting her art, I'm like, I'm married. You see
your life. You're like, yeah, wow, she could just be making paper, and then I go make the real paper. You know? That's crazy, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is that normally what your taste is in women, Asian women?
I like Asian women. I like all sorts of women.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All the flavors.
I like all the flavors. Yeah.
Nice.
I've settled on an Asian girl. Not settled, like. That's not the right word. That doesn't sound right.
You do sound like you sound
I didn't settle on it.
Yeah. No, I'm a colonizer. What we do is we settle. We settle into lands and into women.
If anything, she settled on me. But.
Okay, cool. Hell yeah, let her give one back on you. Yeah.
I listened to a audio documentary on when I think was it Christopher Columbus? Who was the guy that not Christopher Columbus? Who was the guy the white man the Spanish guy that came into Mexico City and just fucking...
Oh, like wiped them out?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was in Mexico City. I think it was Guatemala, but then he worked his way up. I think it was Hernan Cortez.
That's the one.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, apparently it was... Yeah, apparently Mexico City, as you see it now, was completely different. It was full of, like, canals. It was almost like they described it like the Venice of like Central America. Okay. And they would have like boats and go in between all the houses, and apparently it was just absolutely gorgeous.
Really?
And then they just wiped those fuckers out.
That's crazy. I don't know about that one. I don't know about that, but I mean,
not wiped them out because obviously they're still here, but you know what I mean. They just their whole identity is. I mean, those guys came in with muskets and guns, and they just went crazy, didn't they?
Yeah. But I will say there is actually still a lot of culture still alive. But and I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't with the muskets and guns. It was just disease. Yeah. You know what I mean? They just came in, just smeared them, coughed on them, and yeah.
I spent over a year traveling all through Central and South America. And,
really?
And it's so culturally rich. They're so rooted in their heritage. Like it's beautiful. It's actually such a beautiful mix, like the Latin culture. How like I think it is one of the best mergers of two cultures, because the Spanish culture has brought out so many good things there as well. I mean, this is going to be a bit controversial because I guess no colonization is good. I understand that, but you can't change the past. You know?
No, for sure. No.
But I think it is a beautiful mix of like the Spanish culture and the music and the dance, and then the more like native Central and South American cultures, and and just the nicest people.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I will say there is a lot of Spanish influence that I do enjoy in Mexico. Like mariachi wouldn't be what it is if it wasn't for the Spanish influence. And that's honestly a lot of what I know. Like a lot of my Mexican heritage, when I think about it, has a huge amount of Spanish influence.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just now getting to the native part of it. You know, being like noticing now that the indigenous part I was telling you about, like I'm Nahuatl, which is a tribe down in the middle southeast part of Mexico. And they have their own language, and people still speak it.
Wow.
And it clicks too, and it's crazy. It's like this whole thing. And I did an indigenous people's comedy show, and it was a bunch of Native American women that were like, some were comics. One was a poet, and then one was a singer. And I was like, yeah, I'm Mexican. I don't know if I'm allowed. And they're like, what do you mean? They're like, you are an indigenous person. Like, what is the tribe? And I was like, I thought it was Nahuatl. And she's like, yes, that is a strong one. She's like, the language, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, holy fuck.
Wow.
Dude, yeah. So I'm gonna get to that, because I want to be able to, like, you know, be proud of it too.
Yeah,
you know?
of course.
Yeah, bro.
It's such a shame. I sometimes think about this too, because like in a way my family are immigrants, you know.
You are.
You know, we were brought to this big fucking island with nothing there and had to start this place. But like, I don't know anything about my culture where my bloodline would have come from, you know.
Exactly.
I know nothing, and it's such a shame. I think if you can find out about it, you should.
Yeah, because I think not only does it make you stronger within your sense of self, but it also helps you bond with other people. Because when they know their history and you know yours, you can find similarities, and then with that, just be like, oh, maybe that's why culturally I'm like this and you're like that, and you know, there's a difference here, but because I know that's what you've been taught for generations and what I've been taught for generations, that's why we're at such a disagreement, you know, and then kind of have better empathy, you know, because it's just like when you don't know, or like when you're just completely unaware, it's only your life that you're thinking about, not who was before you, who brought you to the place that you're at right now, and then the person that they brought them. Like, I think it just makes you so much stronger in your bringing people together.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's really important. We've had issues in Australia with that, with our Indigenous, because there was a program that went on for, I don't know, it must have gone on for 60 or 70 years or something, where they would take the children from the Indigenous mother and put them in like a white home or a white orphanage. Oh, wow. And try and... turn them essentially... white. And we call them like the stolen generation. And they've had a lot of issues, like a lot of obviously trauma and emotional issues, but one of the biggest things a lot of them say is like they don't know where they came from. You know, they don't know who they are, because they don't understand, you know.
They don't know their past.
They're not rooted in their past.
Exactly.
And that was always so important to them, you know.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's terrifying.
I mean, we've done some fucked up things, haven't we, as humans?
Yeah, no, for sure.
We've done a lot of good things and a lot of fucked up things.
Yeah, definitely, man. I will say, even like being Mexican, it's funny because it's like it's tragic to hear that what you're telling me about the indigenous people in Australia, but I feel like there's some people in the States now that almost are willingly doing that to themselves. For example, there's a lot of people I've met that their parents were immigrants and then they're first generation, right? Like me.
So does that define a first generation as if your parents immigrated and then had you're born
I'm
here,
the first of my generation to be born in this country.
Okay.
So I've seen other people that are like that, but then they're like, nah, I'm just going to be an American.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then just brainwash themselves kind of. Or not, I mean, obviously it's environment too, but it's just like they think that that's peak evolution like for their culture is to be like, nah, man, I'm just going to be as white as I can be. Yeah. You know, and I'm like, no, man. And it's crazy because I was that. Like, I grew up in Florida, dude. Like I was like, yeah.
It's because when you're a kid, you don't want to be different.
Yeah.
You know?
I was like, call me Al.
Yeah.
I swear, dude. I was like, call me Al. I'm your buddy. Yeah.
My wife explains this to me because she's first generation. Her parents were from Hong Kong. They immigrated, and she's got a really cool story actually. But she was the only Asian kid in her school, all growing up. And she lived in like country town, so it's very white in country Australia. Unless you see Indigenous people, but it's generally just very, very white. So she didn't want to learn her language. She didn't want to she got embarrassed if she was packed like a Chinese lunch to school. Like she wanted to just be the same as everyone else.
Yes.
So I kind of get it.
Yeah. No, it's hard not to. You know what I mean? You're like, I want to fit in, but it's and no. So I mean, it's like. I guess the point of what I was trying to say was just like you didn't have to steal them from their parents for them to do that. A lot of them are going to do it by themselves.
Gotcha.
A lot of them are just going to be like, nah, they're killing it over there. I'm going to just do what they do. I have so many Mexican cousins that are like, I drive a Ford. And it's dude.
I think there's going to be a point. There'd have to be a point in their life where they must be curious and like what you're doing, then dig in again. There must be.
I'm not gonna lie, is like I mean, they need something to wake them up. Yeah. They need something to be like, oh fuck, I'm not. You know what I mean? They need like a strong something to snap them out of it. Yeah. Because a lot of the time it's just that they become self-resentful. Mm-hmm. They'll just be like they'll know about it and then they'll just get more mad. They'll be like, no, I don't like it. Because they can't change their past, so they think that because they're born here, that's who they are. It's a misunderstanding, but it's like something they're very stubborn about. Wow. You know? So it's like, they're like, nah. You know? I mean, yeah, I think that's why I do like my stand-up is like that. Like I want to be able to wake them up. Yeah. Like I want them to laugh and like, wait. That's me. Yeah. You know?
I love that, dude.
Yeah.
So you've got sometimes with some of the stuff you're doing, you've got a bit of deeper meaning behind
I do have a
I
message.
love that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah. I want them, because it's sad, dude. You know, because it's really not them hating everyone else. It's them hating themselves, you know? And I am only doing it because I was that. I was definitely like in a space where I was just like, I even with the way I speak English, like I made sure that I can speak it as American as possible. I remember my mom, we would cross the border when we were kids because we would visit my family, and we'd go from Juarez. Juarez is where my family's from. They're in the northern border, so we were like in the border city, and then we'd go to El Paso, which was where I was born. It's Texas, right? So Mexico to El Paso, we just drive over it. But I remember my mom's anxiety. She would like put it on us because she was like, kids, like, make sure when the Border Patrol officer asks you if you're American, you say, yes, American. And then you say it right. You don't fuck it up.
Wow.
Yeah. And even though we were American, she was just like, I don't want to deal with them. Like, I don't want them to, like, pull us over or check the car, because if there's any suspicious or anything that they have, they'll check you. So
they'll find out 2 kilos of cocaine we got hiding in the trunk.
Yeah, dude, because people get crafty, bro. People get very crafty. Yeah. So we had to get crafty back. Yeah, dude.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Different lives, man. Different lives. It's wild.
It's cool, man. I like that there's more Australians here, man. I do like the you guys are like the cool white people, man. The cool in terms of like the people with like that have the most aura. Like you guys are like I remember the first group of Australians I met were in like Puerto Vallarta on the West Coast. And there's these 5 guys that are like, you fucking mad cunt.
Yeah.
Like, like getting railed. And I was just like, that's a bad word. I was 16 and we were at a resort and he was like, I was like, that's a bad word. Like, you fucking, they said, I don't know if you've heard sea cunt. What is sea cunt?
Sick cunt, yeah.
Sick cunt.
Yeah.
That's what they were saying.
Hey guys, you're a sick. That's like you're
sick
cool.
Cunt.
If you're a sick cunt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even hearing it now, I'm thinking, yeah, it's retarded what we say.
Sick cunt. Yeah. But I wanted to be one so bad. It's like, please. Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro.
Please. Yeah. I want to be a sick cunt.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Alfonso,
yeah.
you are a sick cunt.
Hey, thank you, man. I'm complete, dude. Hell yeah. Let's go do some blow after this. Yeah, man.
Hell yeah.
But just you guys, wild child. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
It is a wild culture. We're a bunch of wild people crammed on this island, but it's changing there too now, and sometimes for the better and sometimes for the worse. Like what I learned after COVID was, we're stupidly compliant as a country. Like we are very, very compliant to the detriment of ourselves. Okay. Like Melbourne was the second most locked down city in the world, and no one really said boo. There were people that would protest, and then they got shut down by the police.
Whoa.
And it was just a really sad time for our country. And I don't think we've healed from that. And
That's wild.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is. I've tried to think about it a lot. I don't know if it's got something to do with the convict heritage, where we are a bit more compliant to the government because we had to be at one point. I don't know what it is, but yeah, I think as a country, as a whole, we need to wake up as well. A lot.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's a lot of people that are very asleep in that country. A lot of people that I know and personally, and it hurts, but what can you do?
Yeah, and it happens a lot in those rural areas too, where people don't have a lot more connection to others. You know what I mean? And it's so easy to get stuck in the ways. You know what I mean? And just keep the same way of thinking for forever. You know what I mean? Because there's nobody shaking the cage. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, so wait, you're saying that people were protesting the government for doing too much?
Yeah, but like people tried to do like protests for like anti-lockdown protests and anti-vaccine protests.
Wow. Okay.
Because the lockdowns were just severe, man. Like I even in Brisbane where I was, we were only allowed to exercise for 1 hour a day, and that had to be within like a 1 kilometre radius or 2 kilometre radius of your house. So police were coming around and checking your license to see what your address was, and if you're farther away, you were getting fined.
Yeah,
it got so ridiculous at one point that you had to wear a mask in your car, even if you were driving by yourself.
That's insane.
Can you believe just the logic?
Yeah.
And no one's fucking said anything. Like it was the most mind-baffling time for me. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And then the whole vaccine mandate, which I was completely against. I have no issue with anyone getting the vaccine, but you should never mandate a vaccine. You should never mandate anything. It should always be people's choice. And that then just when that shit started happening, I was like, fucking hell, what is going on here? They're just like a bunch of govern me harder daddies. Please, just govern me as hard as you can.
Yeah. It's crazy too because like I was in Florida at the time the pandemic was happening, and everything was a suggestion. Like you're talking about those like running things, like we were. It was regular day.
You were free,
like
man.
in the peak of it too, which I say that's the other opposite of the extreme. You know what I mean? I was in a way. I was kind of like on like maybe we should wear something like because it was like everybody was like just doing regular life, and I was like, yo, there's like a lot of old people in Florida. They're dying. So like that was crazy to see, to witness, but it's also nuts to hear you and like to hear how fucking much people turn it up, how much the government wants to just be like, hey, you know, that's us. You feel that, you know?
You give the government an inch, they're going to take a mile, and people need to wake up to that. It's not their fucking job to tell you how to live your life. It's not. It's their job to just implement the things that humans need to exist in a cohabitat like fucking, you know, security, airports, fucking the garbage, electricity and shit, and then fuck off. Like, leave.
This guy's making got a fan. Yeah.
And then just fucking leave us alone.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a little bit anti-establishment in that way.
Yeah,
I'm good. If you leave me, you know, I'm good. I'm not going to say anything. But like, if you're trying to invade or tell me what to do, I'm like, fuck you. And that's why I really love the American spirit, because you guys tell these guys to fuck off a lot of the time. I think a lot of that has to do with like how you guys got your independence. You fought for your independence, and you've got guns.
Actually, you want guns?
Well, I don't know, man. I don't.
You're like, I wouldn't mind a gun.
I don't want a gun, but I also think there's less fuckery from the government when people have guns. It's just my personal opinion, but I don't know if that's.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, we have like 1,000 gun deaths a year or 2,000 gun deaths a year in the whole country, where you guys have like millions.
No, I don't mean to laugh at that. It's dark, but
no, I know.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a limit to the gun thing, but
What's your view?
Yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, there's a limit to it. Being born in Texas and growing up in Florida,
Can you have guns there?
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. That's where you buy them. That's where you get the good ones. That's where you walk in and they're like, "You've never held one? Here's an AK-47."
And it's your 9th birthday. Here, take 2.
Yeah. You know what? There you go, buddy. Don't aim that at me. Crazy. Yeah. Yeah, so definitely, like, I do think that people should feel safe and want to protect themselves. But, man, these fucking, they do. They have those semi-automatic bump stocks, those things that bump stocks makes those semi-automatics basically automatic. You can kill a lot of people in a very short amount of time with those weapons. So it's like, I don't agree with that, just because it's like there's just so many crazy people, man, and we've already had so much loss that it's like
there's been a lot of trauma.
Yeah, but I think I think pistols can be okay, like as long as it's like the person got a license for it and there's a proper, because I also do feel like right now it's just like the government does a lot to make us feel like we might need them. Dude, it's crazy.
There's a responsible way to do everything, though, and I'm not saying like you don't need to reinvent the wheel. I think that, like you said, there could be ways of like licensing, training. Like if you have to go do so many hours at a gun range with responsible people. I mean, I agree. Semi-automatic weapons don't really make any sense in society.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy. Yeah. It is wild.
Yeah. And my mom, the guy she married, he's a hunter. And he has rifles and stuff, and he has like long-range weapons. But he only has those long-range weapons that he uses, and he's only allowed to take them out when he's at the location he's hunting. Yeah. So, like, even that, I'm like, okay, that makes sense, right? Because he's using them to hunt. It's what he does as a sport, and he's going to go to a place, and that's where he uses it. Like that makes a lot more sense, and it's not an automatic weapon. It's something to like kill something from very far away. Yeah. And everybody knows what's up when he's at the location. Yeah. They're all wearing the vests or whatever. In
Australia, when you can have guns if you've got a license. But when you do store it, you have to have it in like a gun locker. Yeah. Then the ammunition can't be stored in the gun locker. It has to be stored in a separate locker. Okay. They can't be in the same room as each other. And then you have to lock your keys in another locker. Like there's ways in which which I think that's good as well.
Yeah. I think it's good. It's just I
don't know. The thing is, it's gone too far now. Like, how do you rein it back? They've given out so many guns to people. Like, in some states, do they even ask for like a license, or like do they record your name? Like I said,
in Florida, you can just come in and buy one. And as long as you're over 18, it's like a beer. Yeah.
So, and there's no record that you've bought that gun. There's not.
No, there will be a record that you bought it. Okay. For sure. They keep records of who bought it. Okay. And everything. It's like any purchase. You know what I mean?
But it doesn't go on like a database or anything like that.
you could probably find the person. It does.
Okay.
It has to.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's like it's just so easy. You know what I mean? You have the gun now. It's yours.
Crazy.
You know.
You know what? The biggest thing that I worry about with guns would be just suicides. You know, you're having a bad day. It's so fucking easy just to go, see ya, lights out.
Yeah, especially, did you hear that the statistic too, that's like guys are more efficient with suicides than women?
It's 4 times.
Yeah, because 4 times you know that.
In Australia, it's 4 times.
Yeah, because it's like we know how to be effective.
It's like, the one good thing we can do.
Damn, yeah. If we could only be as effective with our emotions as we are with killing ourselves, we'd be, wow. Yeah.
It's a crazy statistic. I looked into it. I wrote a book, and I did nice. I wrote a chapter on that, actually, but I didn't publish it because I thought it was a little bleak. I kind of wish I did now, but I wrote a chapter on men's suicide because I have a construction background at home, so it's pretty prominent. There's a lot of suicide in the construction industry for some reason. I guess because it's a male-dominated industry, so the odds are higher. But it's sad, yeah. Yeah,
that's it. It's. I mean, I feel like there's always programs and stuff. Every time I see a friend that's like low or whatever, I think it's always like, I'm always like, hey, there's like things you can join. There's things you can, you know, where people are there to support each other. Like, I'm in a program for alcohol and for not drinking and stuff, and it's like having that has like made it so much easier, not only to just to not drink, but also to have emotional support. Like, I've learned that I used to use women as a support beam for my emotions, for just handling my day to day. Like, a lot of my girlfriends, that's what they were, and it sucks because I was like kind of being a narcissist about it. I was using them, but now that I've like come to like understand myself and stopping with like the drinking and stuff, like I've used the people in that program to be like, I'm like, this day fucking sucks, you know, and then they're like, it's all right, man. I've had one exactly like that, exactly like that. So it's like, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then I'm like, I don't need to drink. And then also like, I'm like, oh, I'm a lot more at ease now, you know? And then there's programs of all kinds, you know what I mean? It doesn't just have to be for that specifically. There's like one there's one called for sex and love addicts, you know what I mean? That's just people who struggle with relationships and stuff like that. And there's just so much stuff out there, you know what I mean? And especially in cities, which I like, you know?
Yeah. Reach out if you're lonely. Don't do anything stupid.
Yeah, I got real there for a second.
No, but it's a good point, man. Yeah. We all gotta check ourselves sometimes. And I've had some pretty fucking low points in my life. Yeah. There's some things I wouldn't even want to talk about on this podcast. It's
you wouldn't be a comedian if you weren't.
Yeah. Dude. So I get it, man. I know what it's like to literally want to fucking turn the lights out.
Exactly. Yeah. I know, and it's crazy because like some people are like, oh, it's such a weak thing, or like, oh, it never happens, and it's just like, no, it does, man. Yeah. It does. Even if you're like joking about it, or if it just crosses your mind, that's like a seed that can unfortunately, like, or I don't want to say seed actually, it's like something that will fester if you don't. You look at it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just like a little bushfire, you know? If you don't extinguish it, it can
really... Yeah. I didn't want to say seed because that's beautiful.
Yeah, I hear you.
And I'm like, it doesn't grow. It's more of a parasite. Yeah. It's like a tapeworm that gets really big. Yeah.
No, I'm interested to hear a bit more about your journeys because I'll be honest with you, I definitely hit substances too hard. I've had an issue my whole life. So I recently just did 100 days.
Oh, wow.
And it was great. And then I'm back on now. But I know that I'm going to have to probably sooner rather than later, like pull the pin on it all and just go sober. Yeah. So I'm interested to hear about your journey. How did you come into that point? Like, and then,
for sure.
And then how did you get the help?
I've been bartending for about 9 years.
Oh, that's hard. It's a hard job too.
It's a hard job, but it's so easy to like kind of be the cool guy and everything. Yeah. And like
'cause you can drink at work when you're bartending, can't you? You can have a shot here and there.
Depends on which bar you work at. Right now I'm at one where it's super, super hyper fine dining and there's cameras everywhere, so it's not a thing. But there's a lot of other, especially in New York, it's actually very chill to like just take a shot and you're fine. Especially if you drink a lot, it's not going to do much to you, you know, especially if you're if you're an experienced bartender. I'm going to shorten this. I'm going to start again. So I started bartending for about 9 years, and it was it's actually the reason why I dropped out of college. I I wanted to do that, so I made it a part of my identity, like bartending and talking cocktails, talking wine, talking beer. I can talk about anything alcohol related because I was proud of it, and also I loved it so much, you know. And so I didn't even think about it, but I was making pretty good money. I think my first good like full-time bar job, I was making like $75K.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's good. It's good tips. I was working in fine dining. You know what I mean? So the money's better.
You can really make a career out of it in this country.
And then I had a coworker go to a bartending school in Ireland, and he got a job to be a teacher in New York. And that's actually why I came to New York, because he was teaching at a bartending school in Brooklyn and was like, hey man, do you want to come like check it out? Because you're also a great bartender. Do you want to be like, He's like they have an event manager position where you could like take the students out and like go party in the city. I'm like, hell yeah, let's do that. And then I went to New York, did that, got the job, and then like I was just it was probably like 50% of my character was talking about alcohol. You know what I mean? Which is like crazy. You know what I mean? Like I got it tattooed on my leg. Like the first month we did it, like the students, it was a fun time, but it was also like I had no purpose. Like my purpose was fun. My purpose was being that guy, the fun guy. You know what I mean? So yeah, whatever. Fast forward. I get fired from the job because I hooked up with one of the students. They're all 22, 24 in that range. I was 24 when I started, so I was like, I don't even know why I'm in charge of you guys. I'm literally you. Like yeah.
I would have done the same.
Yeah,
thing.
Dude, there was this French girl. She was so hot. We hooked up and they fired me. And I'm like, that was worth it. Yeah. She doesn't speak a lick of English, bro. She just liked me for me. Like, dude, what? Yeah, it was pretty fucking crazy. And so yeah, I lost my job, and then I had nowhere to go because they were paying for my housing. I was living with the students in like a dormitorium kind of situation, like a bunk bed thing. It was crazy. And I was hooking up with this other girl. I was working at a bar, just like a side bartending gig I was doing. And she was the director of operations. She's like, just crash at mine. And then we just ended up in a relationship. And then she gave me the bar management position. And then we were living and working together. And all I was doing was like drinking and living with this girl. And I was just so unhappy. So I was just doing a lot of blow. And
yeah. There we go.
Yeah. And then that'll fuck you up. That'll fuck you up. Doing it often and doing it like repeatedly, the come down is insane. So, and then like me trying to escape it too. Like I'd be coming down and I'd have to like down a pack of Modelo's, like 12 pack, just to go to bed.
Same.
And like
I know, I've been through
dude,
this. Yeah, I had
fucking crazy
2 or 3 years.
Yeah,
of it.
and
it's agony.
Yeah, no, and I've never been in a place where I was like, I don't know how to calm down. Like my brain, I don't know how to get out of my skin. Like I wanted. So, and I tried to get sober while I was with her, and I was still working the job, failing. Like I'd not drink for 25 days and then go on a bender, 3 days, cocaine again. You know what I mean? Then I'd try to get sober again and then right back down. Like it was just this up and falling repeatedly, and I was like, I can't do this. I was like, I cannot do this by myself. I was crazy because I got to a point, I remember waking up one morning and I'm like, you are not drinking today. And then later that night, I'm fucked up. And I was like, what the hell is wrong with me? So then, yeah, I was actually doing an open mic, and there was another comic, Sean, who you're doing a show with tonight, was like, hey man, you good? And I was like, because I heard my set, and it was just about how I'm like depressed and like not able to stop. And he was like, you alright? And I was like, nah, I mean, yeah, alright. And I was like, I got some time under my belt. And he's like, no, you don't. And then he's like, come to one of these meetings, check it out. And then I tried it, and that was a falling on and off process. And it wasn't until my girlfriend broke up with me and told me to leave the apartment that I was like, I hit that bottom, and I was like, damn, I gotta do something to change this, because I just lost my apartment and my girlfriend, and I'm not, you know what I mean? So I got a different place with another comedian, focused harder on comedy, got deep into the program and actually took it serious, and finally now I'm coming up on 10 months sobriety. Thanks, brother.
Well done, man.
Yeah. I know that was long-winded, but...
No, I love it. Dude, we got time. Beautiful. Yeah. Well done. And how you feeling now?
Amazing, dude. Amazing. I feel really good because it's like I'm learning so much about who I am, you know, and it's that acceptance part, like that was the hardest. It was to be like, damn, I am this person, you know? Because it's like, you don't want to. You don't want to be, you want to be like, I'm normal though. I got this, dude. Like, I'm so good. Like, I've never like punched a woman or anything. Like, what? That's what the people drunks in the movies do. Like, I don't be swinging. Like, yeah. And then, yeah. So, but it's like, that acceptance has brought me so much light just naturally, you know? So much of that, like, positive energy that I always like faked when I was drinking, you know what I mean? Because I was always the life of the party when I drank, you know. But now I've realized that like it's a facade. Like I'm performing when I was drinking with those other people because I didn't really know them. So now I've found like just finding that inner light is really just like more finding yourself, and then being with people you truly respect, you know, truly not even respect, truly understand. You've come to a good even keel with, you know. So unfortunately it means like having to have more boundaries, you know, with people that you don't, you know, have that energy with, and you got to kind of be like, all right, well, I'm leaving. And then they're like, why? I'm like, I'm not going to explain it. Like, you know. So but nah, man, it's so far so good. I'm very young though, like only 10 months sobriety in the program now. Like, you know, hearing people that have like 4 years, 5 years, it's like, it's the constant work, you know, you have to be doing. But the reward is crazy. The reward is awesome. Is
it sobriety from everything as well?
Yeah.
Okay. So what if you wanted to do a psychedelic? Does that?
I'm not doing that only because I know that as soon as I do something that changes, like that
alters
alters my mental state.
Yeah.
I know that my brain is wired in a way to where it's like, all right, well, I kind of not been sober anymore, so fuck it. You know, I will find a way. I will find a way to rationalize it, you know, because I think the thing is, too, that people who are alcoholics are, like, incredibly smart. You're incredibly smart to be able to convince yourself to think it's okay.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree with that logic.
Yeah. You have, like, a really great rationalization skill. So well that, like, I remember when I was with my girlfriend, I told you I was struggling on and off. Like, I would tell her, I was like, no, babe, it's just because, like, at the end of these 3 weeks, like, I've done so much for the bar, and, like, you see how much I've, you know, and just give those excuses and convince her. And once she was like, okay, yeah, you're making point, I'm like, yes. And then I would drink. You know what I mean? Because it was almost, I'm convincing her to convince myself, you know? And I was like, fucked. Yeah. It's crazy.
I just realized I just really struggle just having, like, 2 or 3 drinks.
Yeah.
You know, once I have 2 or 3 drinks and I get that taste, I'm like, I'm all in. It's really hard.
Yeah, dude.
And then
so
it's
tough.
like, the cocaine was a huge issue for me.
Yeah, because it's just, you can drink more, you know? And you're like, oh, shit, now I can drink even more. Like,
And it was, for me, it was like weekends, and then it got to like 2 days a week, and then it got to 3 days a week. And then it got to 4 days a week.
Yeah.
Then it got to 5 days a week, and then it was every day.
Yeah.
And I was going to work on like 1 hour sleep, 2 hours sleep, needing to get Xanax just to get to bed, and then driving home all day going, why the fuck do I do this? Why do I do this to myself? And then drive home, go pick up a bag. It's just like, I will never, I think stuff like that, you can never quite understand how much you really do traumatize yourself when you go through something like that. It's like one of the most horrific things I think you can go through, because it's just a slow and painful death. And it's just a race to the bottom. There's no good that can come from it.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, because there's some people who just don't realize, you know, and it gets a little sad, because I've come to like think of my sobriety now as like a miracle, because I'm like, wow, fuck, dude, I was deep. You know what I mean? It's like it's so hard to pull yourself out of that, you know. And I'm not trying to like pat myself on the back. I'm just like,
no, you should, man. You should acknowledge when you're doing something good.
It's just that kind of thing where it's like, you know, if I had kept going, I definitely would not have lived much longer. Yeah. You know what I mean? I would not have. Yeah, I would have been surprised if I made it to 30. You know, so yeah, and like that's what I was thinking too when I was like partying, like mid party. I was like, fucking, I don't want to be 40. Like, I was like, actually, like, it's just crazy. Wow. The mentality of it.
Yeah, you're in a cloud, aren't you? You're just in this cloud, and you can't see the light. You can't see through it because you're just in it.
I will say, too, when we were talking about culturally, about, like, you were saying, like, why don't people wake up and stuff like that? Or, like, I've seen a lot of them in my Mexican culture and stuff. Like, a lot of my family, the ones that are, you know what I'm telling you, like, they're struggling with, like, finding who they are. Mm-hmm. They're the ones that, like, drink consistently every weekend. And then I feel like it just makes it makes you good at, like, just sticking to one type of personality archetype. You know what I mean? You don't really want to grow because you have that at the end of the week. You have that, like, reward where you can just be like, I can just turn my brain off. That thing of turning your brain off is stopping you from, like, learning more, from, like, progressing, you know? I don't want to say that about any alcoholic drink, anybody that drinks. I just think that there's a pattern, you know? Because, like, yeah, unfortunately, a lot of people in my inner family that are, like, struggle as well.
Yeah, I've got issues with my family as well.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
But it's, like, normalized because it's social and, you know, but, yeah, my family.
It's not even normalized. It's glamorized.
Yeah.
It's glamorized, dude.
You're right.
Yeah. If you can drink well, you're a fucking tank. You know what I mean? You're like stronger somehow.
Yeah. I actually agree with America how they've made the drinking age 21. I truly agree with that. I think that is a smart thing to do. I think 18 is way too fucking young to be just like blitzing yourself out at nightclubs every night.
Yeah, 18. Yeah. Oh, dude, it's crazy. The environment that young people put themselves in. Like when I was in college, bro, that's what ramped it up more than anything. It was just like, it's all about partying. It's about, like, you've seen American movies.
Yeah.
It's exactly like the movies, dude. Like, not even, like, keg stands, all those, like, I can show you Snapchats right now where you're like, what the fuck? That looks like it's a film. You know what I mean? And it's like, because, like, they just, that's what it is. You know, in America, it's like, you're drinking, you're fucked up, that's the college experience. And it's like, no, it's not. You're supposed to learn. That's the time you're learning. That's actually the time you find yourself. But it's actually a lot of the times where people lose themselves. It's where people, like, develop a problem. I think that's where my problem developed.
Really?
Yeah. Because I was just, I didn't give myself time to really get to know who the hell I was. I'm just doing that now. You know what I mean? I was just so busy, caught up, trying to get to the next party, trying to be the cool guy that I dropped out and then became a bartender. And I was just like, yeah, I'm this guy. Yeah. You know what I mean? So much that I wanted to do it professionally in New York.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, I started drinking really young. Like, I was sneaking out from home when I was like 14.
Yeah.
15, going to parties, drinking heavily. And that just carried all the way through. That never stopped. I think people are changing a bit now. I think the younger generation seem to now not drink as much.
It's happening.
And I can kind of see...
It's becoming a trend.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Yeah,
you know?
It's a good one. Really good.
It's been nice. It's been nice just seeing other younger people in the meetings I go to, and then also just talking about it. Like just, you know, just being able to have a conversation with people my age that are, like, struggling, but they're also like, oh, that's cool, you know? I think it's because it's just more awareness, you know? Social media, I will say there's a lot of poison there, but it's also a lot of reflective stuff because you're constantly seeing stuff, whether it's humor, whether it's movies, whether it's whatever, there's all this stuff that makes you look inward. There's art that makes you look inward. And I think it's helped us see a little bit more of the real situation, you know? But a lot of the times, I don't know, it's either 50-50. It's either they're doing it for dry January, which is becoming really popular, or they're actually buckling down and being like, no, I'm done, you know? Yeah.
And you look at a lot of the people that are pretty famous, like there's a lot of famous actors and comedians.
Tom Holland. He's a big one.
Bradley Cooper, apparently.
Bradley Cooper? Nice.
Jim Jeffries, even, the Australian comic. Apparently he doesn't drink anymore.
Yeah,
either.
Bill Burr neither.
Really?
Yeah,
Bill Burr's given up?
Bill Burr, yeah.
I feel like it just gets... You're right. It just... Once you probably want to get to a certain point when spiritually, because everything's...
Spiritually is that's the key word.
Yeah. Everything is in the spiritual. If you don't see that, that's where, you know, that's the journey.
I was huge atheist when I was at the peak of my drinking. I thought it was all on me. I think it's, you have to have something to just be like, I'm letting that go, because if you don't believe in something bigger than yourself and it's all onto you, that's what gives the pressure of, if I fuck up, if I make a mistake here, it's all on me because I brought myself here. I made this happen. No, you didn't.
Yeah.
You didn't. No, the things that are happening right now that's just something above you, man. Let that go.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I definitely feel God is on my side.
Hell yeah.
I feel like I'm in the flow of life.
That's good.
And I feel like it took a lot to get here. And I've still got a lot more. Like, it's going to be a life's journey.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
for sure.
I think at some point I started to feel like, when I moved here, I started to feel like the back end of the slingshot, like when you let go of the slingshot. I've been starting to feel that I'm working with the energy of life now. And just things are just happening. I'm meeting the right people at the right time.
Nice.
I'm not having to work too hard for it. I'm just being me.
That's
and
good.
doing what I want to do. And it's just, everything's just falling into place, and it's beautiful. It's just been such an amazing journey being here.
That's awesome, man. That's great. Hell yeah, dude. Just keep riding that wave, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep riding that wave. And congrats, dude.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah. I like how there's a call going after it. It's awesome. I mean, it's the truth, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like it's people that are really putting the priorities in the right place.
Yeah.
You know?
That's the goal. This is just to get people that I like. If I meet someone, I'm like, yeah, they're chasing something. You know, they got the eye on the prize, and I'm like, I want to get them on.
Yeah.
And I want this to be, eventually over time, I want this to be one of the, like a big podcast in New York City.
Hell yeah.
I'm not
That's
going
awesome.
anywhere, so I'm just going to keep putting the time in and whatever it takes.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. That's awesome.
Get a loyal little fan base behind the podcast and keep going. Bring the friends up with me.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think, and it's cool too because it's like you're getting a lot of younger comics too.
Yeah.
So like, we'll see. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't wait for that. How cool is it going to be in 10 years' time when you see like guys getting specials and stuff, and you're like, look at you in this little podcast.
Yeah.
Burger.
I know.
You can hardly wipe your ass.
Yeah. Yeah, look at you talking about guns like you know something. Because that's what I'm thinking about. I'm like, damn, I really said pistols are okay. Is that okay?
We know nothing.
Yeah, definitely don't. These guys are fucking idiots. I love how we were trying to have the deepest conversation. You guys can't see this, but there was like a line of morons just like, yes, people, hello.
It's so weird that people have the inkling to just want to wave at you.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
It's because we have mics and headphones. They're like, there might be someone important.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Not yet, but one day.
Yeah.
One day we're going to.
Yeah, you just wait.
Yeah.
A few years.
Yeah. Give me 10 years, all right?
Give me a decade. Stay hot. Some hot girls out there.
I'll be back. Yeah.
You keep that ass plump, baby. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. This was I was recording on the day of SantaCon.
Yeah.
That was mayhem.
Oh yeah.
It was a lot of eye candy about.
Yeah. The girlies love it.
They love it.
They love to dress up. They love to put sparkles on their face and, you know,
and
something.
American culture's brilliant because when there's a holiday, you guys really enjoy it. You really fucking
go
after it.
We party.
Yeah, man.
We party.
There's like you guys don't settle. Like you guys, like you're all in.
Yeah, that's something
awesome.
that's something true that even though I'm sober, I still want to do. I still want to party. I still want to dance. I still want to fucking get loud with some people because that's still who I am.
Yeah.
You know. And I've actually been doing that. Like
Good
just like just going. Like I had a Spanish show, and then afterwards we went to Gonzales y Gonzales, where you just dance salsa and stuff. Listen to some live music, bro. It's so much fun.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You find yourself in those moments.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I think that there's a lot of beauty in that, you know? Like, there's just the way we just kind of lose ourselves is cool.
Man, you're really inspiring me. Thank you, dude.
Thanks, man.
I'm really glad we've had this chat. I'm taking a lot out of this.
Of course, man. Yeah, I'm happy to be here, bro. And
Thank you, dude.
Yeah, I can see you guys. You run a really good conversation too. When you started, you kind of took the wheel, and then now we're kind of bouncing off each other's energy, which is great. You know, I think that that's what a good podcast needs.
Yeah,
100%. Someone who's willing to kind of take control, but then also be like, all right, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. You know, but settle in. You know, because
Thanks, brother.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Now, I want to hear about your comedy journey. Like, how the fuck did that even come about? Like bartending.
Yeah, it was. I was trying to get sober. And I was. Well, it was before. I started a little bit before that. But I wasn't as committed as I wanted it to be. But it was because I was so unhappy with like the bar jobs and everything. Yeah, I just wanted to just laugh because that's what I was good at. I was just it was in New York when I started. I started in New York, and I think I was on a bender. The first thing that like actually made, it's gonna sound really scripted, but it's not. All right. I was on a bender. It was like 6 a.m. I saw Adam Sandler in Soho, and I was by myself, and I was coked out of my mind. And I saw him, and I was like, Sandman, it's the Sandman. I was like, oh my God, it's Adam Sandler. And I'm losing my shit. And he only has one bodyguard, and the guy's like fucking he's like 5'1", you know what I mean? And he's like walking behind him, and I was like, this can't be his bodyguard. And I'm like, this can't be Sandler. But I said it anyways, and then he like put his hat down, and I was like, oh my God, and I flipped out. And then he was just like, and he said hi, and I was like, Sandler, I haven't slept all night, but looking at you, it feels like a dream. And actually it was like, and he laughed. He was like, and he's like, get some sleep. You know when he does his scream? He did that, and I was like, oh my God, I'm flipping out. I was like, dude, he actually did that, and then we took a picture, and he's like, you're funny, man. And I was like, thanks, man. And I ran away. I ran away. Like I was like, I couldn't continue the conversation because it was fucking Adam Sandler, bro. So I ran away, and then I just kept thinking about it. He said I was funny, and I made him laugh, and I was like, fuck, dude. I was like, he started stand-up, bro. And I was like, should I try it? I was like, yeah, I should try it, dude. And then I did mics, got addicted. I did like 5 mics a week, kept doing them.
There's no coincidences in life.
Yeah, man.
Like for that experience, for you to go through that and meet Adam Sandler and him to tell you funny, like you were meant to have that experience.
Right, dude.
100%.
Dude, it was crazy,
100%.
Dude. Yeah. So,
wow.
So yeah.
That's a sick story.
It's a good story, right? Yeah. It's a good story.
It's a really good story.
Yeah. It sounds scripted.
No, it's great.
Yeah. But yeah, he was so cool, man. And, yeah, so just starting out with that was fun.
Good on you, man. Hell yeah. Well, I mean, you're great. You're so fucking funny. You're so vibrant and lively up there as well. You got such good energy. You're just like, you really, really bring it every time.
I feel like working in the service industry helped a lot with that. Just like with having charisma and having like energy for people. Yeah. That's something I had to learn too, because I had the energy before I had the funny. You know what I mean? I still don't really even have the funny, but like having the energy is half the battle. Yeah. I've noticed where it's like you kind of just want to win people over with like. But yeah, at first I was like, I remember starting up. I was like, it was all act out. Like, it was all one big act out. Like, I never, like, settled and actually was like, all right, how are we doing? Like, I was just like, yeah. I was basically like Mexican Jim Carrey up there, you know? Which, I mean, actually, no. Just not saying that. That sounds like I'm sucking my own dick.
Don't worry.
No, I was just overacting. Yeah. I was doing it too much.
I get what you mean. You were, I understand. It's a good analogy.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Don't worry, man.
But yeah, dude. It's cool, man. I just like seeing Mexicans resonate with it. But I like seeing everyone. But I do. It's like an inner thing that I'm like.
You're on a mission, dude.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, and it feels weird that I have like a little agenda, but it's like I think it's what's powering most of it.
Why do you think I'm doing this, dude?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I think when you know, and you just got to go with it. And it may not always be that. You may then just alter, hit a wall and go, no, I'm going to bounce and do something else.
The point is to hit the wall.
You got to have a mission. You know what I mean? You got to have something.
Yeah. Do you have something that you're doing with your comedy that you feel like you want to, say?
I do. Yeah.
What do you think that is?
I would like to make light of spirituality in comedy. I would like to bring more of that into the light, but I'm not there yet. I'm not there comedically, so I haven't really tried to delve into that.
I see.
But I would like to use comedic, like my stories and things that I've gone through to express, the funny situation in life, but also have like meaning behind it. So it's like, that's funny, but I kind of get it. Like I kind of, I felt
like kind of like growth. Like kind of like saying that like with your jokes, kind of like laughing with people, but also being like, you see how I like changed as a person, kind of?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And I'm starting to get a lot more honest. Like I'm doing bits about like cocaine now. I'm trying to work that in. I've got a 3-minute bit about an ayahuasca story, which has like a bit of meaning behind it as well.
Okay.
I've done that on a few shows. So I'm slowly getting there, but you know, this comedy game is a long game. You got to put the seatbelt on and just coast, man. Like I think everyone has this delusion when they first start. You're like, I'm going to get so good. I'm going to be amazing. And then you start and you're like, oh no, I fucking suck.
Yeah.
I suck.
You're going to suck for a long time. I still suck.
Yeah, dude, I did a show last night. Like I won the first half and completely lost the second half. It was the first time I've said, wow, I've really lost everyone here, haven't I? And it's just like, it just doesn't matter.
Yeah, no.
And I just feel like this is, the sooner you accept, if you're going to do this and you want to do it professionally, which I do and I know you do, and you just got to buckle in and go for the long journey.
For sure. And that's what keeps you humble.
Yeah.
It keeps you humble and it keeps you hungry.
Yeah.
You know, because you're like, whatever little thing I can get, nugget to push me a little over, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. If I eat shit, I eat shit.
Yeah.
I'm doing it. It's moving me forward.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. And I'm starting to learn a lot more that if it's painful or I'm scared of it, then that's probably what I need to move into.
It's a good thing. Yeah. 1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%.
But that comedy's for me. Like, I'm not really, I know like I get to make people laugh, which is great, but it's not. It's selfish. I'm doing it for me because it makes me feel good.
Yeah.
But this is like my thing that I want to try and do to kind of give back.
Oh, okay.
This is kind of like this is for me as well, but it's, I truly believe in what I'm doing and what I want to do and where I want to go with it.
Okay.
And I really want this to be able to really be a really good platform to bring up our group of comics that are coming up now.
Cool.
And I feel
giving back to other fellow comedians.
I feel very strong about it.
That's beautiful, man.
So
that's beautiful.
I kind of like feel I've got my purpose now. I'm just going to keep going.
Yeah. That's awesome. Because that's really what it is you're believing in artists' dreams.
Yeah.
You're believing in art. You're believing in people wanting to express themselves how they believe they can do it, and giving them a better platform.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. That's cool because you're believing in people's potential and thinking that there is I see it. Yeah. I see growth and I want to help you.
Yeah.
You know, plant that seed.
Exactly.
Which is a lot of the things some people need it, man, you know, so it's awesome.
And this is such a good group. It's such an exciting time to be in New York City. Like, I feel like there's so many guys that are just really well known. You know, you got the classics like Bill Burr and Rogan, but this group of guys and girls that we're going up with, like, there's some fucking killers in there.
Oh, for sure.
Some absolute murderers.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm sitting in front of one now as well.
Oh, thanks, man.
I really truly think you're gonna fucking kill, man.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
That means a lot, man.
And so I just think it's just such an exciting time to be here and to be involved in this.
It's so fun, dude. It's so fun how we get to just be with each other and kind of just see where one person is at one point in their career and then see them later on and seeing that growth. You know what I mean? It's so cool to watch, man.
It's great. And seeing all friends produce shows and do that, that's cool too, because everyone's growing in their own way. Everyone is just picking their own little journey, and they're kind of doing it, and I dig it, man. It's really cool.
Yeah. And what's great is that you don't have to do the same thing.
No,
it feels like because it's comedy and it's stand up, everybody has to do it the exact same way. There's so many avenues, bro. There's so many avenues, and also just like in those avenues, there's like you can still do it your own way. Yeah. Like I'm a Latino comedian, which a lot of Latino comedians are here in the city, but I'm also not trying to be a traditional Latino comedian where, like, I'm all personality. I'm trying to do a little bit more writing. Like Ralph Barbosa, have you seen him? Dude, that guy has the most monotone performance you've ever seen, but his writing is so good. You're like, oh, fuck. You know what I mean? Which is awesome, because he's doing a Latino route. He's talking about being Hispanic, but then he has no energy, which is cool, because you see a contrast, and it beats people's expectations, So it's cool. Why are they knocking, ladies? Golly.
Tell me what your writing style is. Like, so how do you come up with a bit from an idea and then put it on stage? Like, what's your process?
Oh man, these are really good questions. Thank you, man.
Oh, good.
I think it's like sometimes I start with what I want to, if I want to say something, like if I want to I want people to know this thing that is like, it's kind of angering me that people haven't noticed yet, and I'm mad. So I let myself rant in my head, I'll record myself and I'll let myself rant or write it down. She's a real idiot. Yeah. She's a real moron.
We just had some girl banging on the fucking window.
Yeah, banging. We're not even famous. That's the best part. We are not famous. She's so desperate for just strangers' attention. Like, it's not even like she, like, you know what I mean? That's the most embarrassing part of all of this. Is that we are nobody, and she's like, please look at me. Please. I will dance. I will bang on this window. Oh my God, look at that face. I love it. Wow.
I need to put I had a friend suggest I need to put like a QR code on the thing, on the window, so people can like scan the podcast.
Yeah.
That would be
cool.
would
be great. That would be great. Yeah.
Anyways, go back to where you're at.
Oh, Lord. So sometimes shit like that, I'll get pissed off and I'll just rant, and then people laugh and I'm like, all right, write that shit down. Because a lot of it is like shit that makes me angry, but then I realize that anger is rooted in a little bit of sadness, that there is no understanding between two groups. So I'm like, how do I deal with the sadness? I want to laugh about it, you know? So it's stuff that really pulls in my emotions. Like anger and sadness are probably the biggest ones, you know? So it's just how we cope. I feel like it's just comedy in general too. Like, it doesn't matter how dumb someone's premise is. A lot of it is them coping with something that was sad or, you know, made them angry, you know? And then they cope with it really well. And then other people were like, oh, that's so funny. Yeah. We also cope with that similarly, you know? So big thing, like, it could be big topics. Like I have a joke about Latinos being Republican in Florida, but then I could be small things about how my roommate is a germaphobe, but he's from a different culture, half black, half Lebanese, and I'm Mexican, you know, and dealing with that, you know, and how I'm learning, you know, how there's a difference of culture. Because sometimes you meet someone and you want to just be like, we know each other, right? But it's not the case, you know, and it makes it a little annoying at first, but it's like, it's actually kind of cool when you find ways to kind of understand them, you know. So I think that's the biggest thing with like the joke writing thing, and then also stories. I mean, some things that have happened that made me feel that way, and then I'll try to shorten them up. That's something I'm working on though, because it's so hard not to ramble. Yeah. You know, when you're saying a story, even when you write it down, you know, I have, you know, stuff that has happened to me where like people said something racist and I'm trying to make it funny. It's so hard for me to be like, all right, what's important here? Like what needs to be said, so that people get the bit. Also, how do I not make this a straw man argument? How do I not make this sound like every white man in Florida is racist? Because that's not the case, right? So yeah, that's a big thing.
Nice, man. And do you find that you're writing, like, will you have a bit kind of semi sort of thought through and written down, kind of memorized, and then you go do it, or do you try and do a bit of writing on stage as well? Like, have you?
No, writing on stage. I'll riff on stage.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'll have a big punchline that I've written and I've tried and it works, and then in that laugh while they're laughing, I'll say some other stuff to add. You know, tags. We know this, but like it'll like. If it works really well, then I'll keep it, and then I'll write it, and I'll add that to the set. You know? Man. I feel like we do that. I've seen you do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do different. I'm doing different shit all the time. I don't really have one way anymore. I just like write, and then a lot of my newer stuff I've just gone out and riffed it on stage and just said it 4 or 5 times on stage, and then I go write it down. So that's been fun, and that's actually more just coming because I'm lazy. Like, if I've got an idea, I'm like, fuck it, I'm just going to go do it on stage and just, like, on a mic.
That's cool.
Yeah, and
on a mic. Okay.
Yeah, not on a show.
Okay.
I'll definitely try something first on a mic. That's why I think mics are so great. You really can. And it's not even really about getting the laughs on the mic, because a lot of time mics you don't get laughs. It's just about getting it in your blood a little bit. You know what I mean? I feel like I can sit there at home and try and memorize something and read it 30 fucking times and just practice at home, or I can do it like 5 times on a mic and I
much
know
better
it.
That way.
I don't know what it is. It's like maybe the adrenaline gets in your blood better.
It comes out more natural.
Yeah.
It comes out more like this is still something I mean when I say.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel you say it so many times over and over. I used to it was still in my first year, I would record myself in my apartment saying my set over and over. But then when I said it, I just felt like I wasn't saying it.
Yeah, you're like a robot. You're like, it just becomes this mechanical thing.
Yeah, no, I wasn't saying it,
Yeah.
So I think that's good. That's a good way to do it. I think also what I've been doing too is I've just been doing face-to-camera videos.
Yeah.
And writing bits about stuff that like pisses me off or whatever. And that is great because I see how the video does. And if people respond, I'm like, okay, if it does well, I'm like, okay, so this is something that has their attention, but is it funny? So it's a great trial run before I do it on a show. You know what I mean? So I'll kind of skip the mic process because that's what I feel like the mic process is a little bit. Is to like, okay, can this gauge people's attention? And do they think it's funny? And then they think it's funny. Okay, cool. Let's say it on a show. See what happens.
Yeah, nice.
Nice. And that's been cool because now I have a content side where like I'm now cranking videos out where I'm really just saying shit I would say at an open mic.
Yeah.
But now that people are getting response from that, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. People care. Now I'm going to say it on stage. And then it hits, and I'm like, let's go.
Keep going, man. What you're doing is great.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, and I think, like we were just saying, there's no one way to do anything. It's just, you just got to find your path. And I think if you're not trying to post on social media, you're an idiot.
You're done.
Yeah.
You're done,
It's just
bro.
it's the only way to get by now. Like, to build a career, especially if you want to build a career semi-quickly, like, to be honest, like, I know it's going to take a long time to be a very good stand-up, but I'd still like to be making money in the next 3 years doing it.
Okay.
And whether or not be the podcast or, I'd just like to be making some money so I can afford this lifestyle and what I'm doing, So I think without doing social media, you're done. There isn't.
Yeah.
There's no career.
There isn't because there's just like it's more than half the battle now, unfortunately. You see a lot of stand-up comics that are doing numbers on social media, but they're just not funny on stage. And that's the last thing I want to become.
Yeah, I know.
If I do grow a following, I'm going to try so hard to not let that. Yeah, I'm thankful for my sobriety program because it helps me bring me down because it helps me look inward and be like, no, you're still a fucking idiot. And I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Because I feel like social media does that easily. You see thousands of people liking and commenting and telling you're a genius, and you're like, I am. Maybe that's the truth.
That's why I like open mics because of that. If you got an ego, it soon dies.
That's so funny.
You can get humbled so quickly on an open mic. Yeah.
Even at a bad show. I did a bad show 2 nights ago, and it was like a terrible crowd, but I was like, I'm gonna fucking kill right now. They haven't heard me yet. Bombed so hard. I even tried to do some crowd work in between. I'm like, this guy's not liking it. What are you? And he's like, Mexican. I was like, fuck, that's my target demographic. I was like, Mexican and what? He was like, Jewish. I was like, I have nothing. I've never heard of that, a Mexican Jew. Yeah. So
now tell me about your show.
Oh, Hot Chips. Yeah, it's cool.
Tell the audience because
for sure.
We can do a little clip on it.
Yeah, definitely. So Hot Chips is a show that I co-produced with Elisa Brown. She's great.
She's great.
Yes.
I'm going to get her. I've got her locked in to come.
Oh, that's great to hear, for sure. Yeah, she's awesome.
We should do you guys together sometime.
Oh, yeah, love to.
That'd be really
She's got
fun.
a great energy, for sure. And we do that. I came up with the concept because I wanted to bring up minorities in the comedy scene, just have more of that. But I didn't make it BIPOC. I just said minorities are the majority in terms of the lineup, and that's why I called it Hot Chips because white people don't eat that. And then also called it Hot Chips because we have one comedian to eat a super spicy chip in the middle of the show. Brutal. To kind of bring the energy back up and see if they can still be funny while under immense pressure.
How hot are these chips?
Super hot, dude. I've eaten them twice now. It's fucking tough. I ate it for the first show, and then I ate it for our Valentine's Day thing where they had to, like, vote to see which comic they liked the most, and they voted me, of course. And, yeah, dude, it sucks. It's brutal, but it's actually really fun because it's kind of like you're on the spot. Yeah. You know what I mean? And the best thing to do is be on your feet. So it's like, it's good to, I just see any comic, you know, kind of work with that. And it doesn't matter how nonchalant you are, because you're going to be in that pressure because your mouth is burning. You know what I mean? Yeah. People like to call it a gimmick. I think it is, but it's also really cool to just, and to just watch people work with it, you know, artistically, you know? And I like to do more up and coming comics, for the chip. I'm getting bigger comics now that want to eat the chip, but it's just like, we know you're good on your feet. You know what I mean? Yeah. I want to see somebody fucking light up and be like, fuck this. You know what I mean? Like their mouth is burning up and I was like, I'm just going to say what the fuck is on my mind and then watch them kill an audience, and it's really fun to watch, actually.
Yeah. All right, I got to come to the next show.
Yeah, dude.
I love that everyone's doing different shows. Like Nico DeGaio is doing the show, the Shock Therapy.
Oh, is that his show?
Yeah,
oh
that's
my
his
God,
show.
he's sadistic.
I know.
That is.
They asked me if I wanted to go on. I was like, I don't know if that's for me. I might just wait and see. That's exactly. I was on mushrooms when he told me about it, and I actually felt sad. I was like, oh no, this is like Gladiator now. This is like, and then he explained to me. He's like, no, actually, that's what he said to me. He's like, no, it's like Gladiator. We're fucking. It's like you got to be a champion.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I kind of see it.
Yeah,
I kind of see it.
But it's still,
oh no, we're shocking people.
No.
I love it though.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. There's a genre for everyone.
Of course.
In anything.
No,
and
100%.
There's no right or wrong. Just fucking do it. You know?
It's true.
If it's not for you, don't watch it.
Yeah,
just shut the fuck up.
No, 1,000%. That's so easy. Yeah. It's so easy to just be like, swipe.
Yeah.
Dude, that's it.
Done. I know. You don't need to sit there and go, fuck you. Like, fuck off.
I don't understand that. Hate comments are crazy. I'm having 2 videos do really well this week, and the amount of just people like, I'm like, bro, you know I'm not reading that shit. Like, I'm not going to read it.
Who cares?
I'm not going to expend my energy. And then I have people that are on my side that fight them, and then they have this whole thing, and I'm like, whatever, just boost the engagement, guys, but this is going nowhere. Like, you're not gonna, you only have your words to try to get the other person to understand you. I mean, there's only 150 characters per comment. They don't, it's not gonna get across.
Shut the fuck up.
It's so unbelievable.
Just go shut the fuck
Make
up.
a video yourself. How about that? You know what I mean?
Go find some friends. Shut the fuck up.
Show your face.
No one cares.
Make a video if you really care, bro. Like,
I do love and appreciate this. Do you guys call it sledging? Oh, no. It's like, no, when you see like a post and then people write really funny comments, but it's like they're sort of paying the person out, but they're really funny. Like they're really...
Oh, okay.
I can't... anyway.
Some hate comments are hilarious. Those are the ones I actually respect. Where you get toasted. And you're like, oh,
I love it.
Yeah, because they're using comedy.
Some guys are so creative. I'm like, dude, you can just think that on the spot and write that? My God, grab a fucking microphone.
You demon. Yeah. They fuck around and ruin people's days. Like, that's what they live for, too, bro. Like, crazy, bro. No, it's insane.
Now, give the audience your socials.
Oh, okay, for sure. My Instagram is at Alfonso Hernandez, NYC. And same as my TikTok. Also have a YouTube. The link is in my Instagram bio. Also, Hot Chips Comedy is the Instagram if you guys want to check it out.
Hell yeah.
It was great being here, man.
Hey, man.
Dude,
absolute
thank you
pleasure.
so much. That was awesome.
You're very welcome.
Yeah. That was great.
Guys, this one is one to look out for. So follow him on Instagram, give him a like, send him a message, tell him you love the podcast. He's a fucking champion. And, mate, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me, brother. It was great.
See you on the next one, guys.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to this episode of Going After It with Cam Bird. Produced by Cam Bird. Podcast edited by Calvert. Music by Brian Rigby. If you've enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe. And if you can, get after it.